This is Ben. More than telling stories, he enjoys listening to them. That's why, from time to time, he sits down in front of the camera and chats with our customers. Today, he had an exciting conversation with Michael Brown, the owner and founder of VitalWave Technologies and SportsForms LLC.
Is there just like a quick, summary of sample use case of what you use signNow for, or just an overview of what you do use signNow for?
So youth sports organizations, when they have to collect document signatures from parents for tournaments or for league play or for participation in any sport, those are the documents that we would digitize and make available for parents to sign. So we can send them to a website to request the documents. Maybe their club sends us the list of all of the participants, and we blast out the emails to the parents. Hey, you need to do these before your kid can participate. So that's what we use, the digital signature piece of that. And then we've also built a portal backend where the documents then are stored and can be manipulated and put into teams and exported for various purposes.
How that's benefited your business overall, like any numbers, time saved, anecdotal stories from your users about why they like it?
Well, it's kind of the crux of the business. If we didn't have that, we really wouldn't be in business. So it's that or nothing. But from the user standpoint, from parent standpoint, instead of having to print out a PDF and sign it and scan it and email it back in, that was kind of the best case for a club before SportsForms. But now it is completely automated, completely digital, seamless. And now we've made some partnerships with some of the, especially in soccer, but some of the state associations so that we can integrate directly with them. So a parent just has to sign one document and we can share it behind the scenes with their league or with their conference or what have you. So being able to expand that now that everything is digital, being able to expand that and make life easier all the way around, not just from the signers of the documents, but from the document management side of it.
If you had to make a list of some of the common pain points, and I know it's tough because we're sort of making up hypothetical prospects, but what do you think are some common pain points that people have that the signNow API and your guys' service could solve?
I think one of the common misconceptions is that all the documents need to be in some sort of a library and are pretty static from the documents that would be used in the signNow and what you would have customers or internal customers sign. But there is a lot of flexibility as far as injecting data into the documents and having them kind of modifiable and customizable for a given situation, whether it's a contract amount or an address or a date of birth. All of those things are modifiable and malleable within the document itself. If you know how to do that programming piece of that, send the data to now, have the data input into the documents, then have those signed. So whether it's a contract or sales quote or whatever other thing you may be able to think of, having that expertise and having that ability, I think, could be important for a lot of customers.
signNow versus signNow API. Why is the API so much more useful and powerful than just regular signNow e-signature?
The signNow user interface and the abilities that you have through the direct interface are fine for a lot of customers. I think that's fine, and there's definitely a market for that. I think the ability, though, to customize and really make it more of a white box solution from a branding perspective, from a and from a flexibility standpoint, and some of the feature sets you might not necessarily want to be locked into if you're using the full user interface from signNow. I think those are two of the big things that we've seen the customers are looking for, being able to customize it so that it looks like their own, and then also having the ability to get outside of some of the limitations that just necessarily the user interface for signNow has.
If you were to pitch a customer in one or two sentences, what would be your go-to, pitch line, elevator pitch for why something like the signNow API could totally, delight your customers and change how they do business?
I think whenever you deal with paperwork, moving paperwork back and forth, even if it is somewhat digitized now, without that extra layer of legality around a legal electronic signature, you always run into issues. So to get around that, to jump over that hurdle, I think the electronic signature piece and the flexibility that you can get using an API in order to fit various different types of business needs, I think that's the key. And again, looking at it VitalWave standpoint, with the project management experience and being able to integrate and with large projects, as well as the specific expertise with the signNow API, that's really where we come to the table and want to be able to help some of those enterprise level clients implement that type of solution.
And you mentioned integrations. Are there integrations that you're using signNow API with? Outside integrations, Salesforce, Google.
Yes, we do. We do quite a few integrations, specifically right now with the Google platform, the Google backend, specifically around collecting data, manipulating data, making the calls to the signNow API to generate the documents, generate the signing links, track the documents, and then download them. Once they're downloaded, we do typically use the Google Drive backend for storage there. We also integrate with AWS as far as document storage goes, and cloud SQL situations wherever they may be. So when a client comes, especially if they're somewhat of a newer client, there may be platforms out there that have an API that we're able to easily integrate with, but we also have the ability to look at what their systems are that may be a little bit more aged, and what other solutions we may be able to do to work alongside some of those existing older line of business applications.
What would we do to make your business even more successful?
I think it's impressive the continual evolution of signNow and the kind of building out of the robustness of the platform, adding things like SMS messaging and invites for documents, some of those types of things that we've been looking at ourselves internally and building our own solution for, that we can now just utilize a great partner like signNow for that capability. But the continual evolution and building out of enhancement of that platform, I think is great.